Alright, so this will be the first part of a tutorial series where we're going to create a horror game over, a number of videos. We'll do small chunks at a time, so it's not going to be too long, the videos, but just enough to help you get started, and we'll slowly build up because it's a lot to take in, and there's a lot of things and different little different plugins, blueprints, logic, scene building. There's so many things to cover. But we'll start with the basics. So this video, I'll show you what we'll create. Then I'll delete this entire project and we'll build it from scratch. So if I hit play, so we'll be switching between multiple cameras as a little animation intro. That's not the best animation in the world. It's just to show you how you can do it. And then as you can see, we transition from the animation sequence into a first person character that you can control. We also have the ability to toggle on a flashlight for darker areas. So for example, if we go over here, we can now, turn on the light and turn it off. You may notice that right now it's daytime. However, we do have the day sequence plugin added to the project, so we can also change this to night too, and we'll cover that in the video too. So let's get started by creating a new project. So I'm going to close this down, so don't save. Just give me a second just to delete the file and we'll come back to it. Okay, so am I back? I don't know, let's see. Unpause. Okay, I'm back. I just had to just double check the pause button. Anyway, so I deleted that folder. I'll rename this project now called Scary Game. Or you can name this whatever you want. Don't forget to change your location of your project folder where you want the project to be stored, all the files. And for this, for me, I'm just going to keep it in this tutorial folder so I know where everything is. We're going to start with the third person template, blueprint template. I'm going to have this set to desktop and maximum. Starter content, if you want this on, you can check it. If not, you don't need it for now anyway. And we can always add it in the project later. So we can import other assets as well. But let's get started. So we're going to hit create. And then you'll see the project will start to build. Now, before we do anything, I want to do is, because we're going to have to restart the project once we enable the plugin, let's just go to plugins, so edit plugins, and we're going to activate the day sequence plugin. It's experimental right now, but it's a really good plugin. So I'm just going to hit yes, and then say restart now. Now you don't have to use this; it's optional. If you don't want to use it, it's fine. It does great for day and night cycles. Sorry, I have an itchy throat. Anyway, project files out. Okay, that's fine. So you may notice there's no difference, right? Because the plugin's not installed and the light. So if I hit play, so this is our third person character. And we've got this basic like playground world. I don't know what they call this, obstacle course that you can kind of test your character walking around. Okay. So what we're going to do is just like add the lighting in. Let's replace this lighting here. So we're going to go to our outliner. We're going to go to this lighting folder. What I'm going to do is delete everything in that lighting folder except for the post-process volume. I want this to be in the scene. So I'll select all of these. Delete. We'll keep the post-process volume. Let's check the bounds on that as well. Yeah, it's already checked, so it's already set up, so you can just kind of leave the post-processing volume in there. What you want to do is go here. We're going to say search for all, and then just start typing day. And as you type in, you'll see this sun, moon, day sequence actor. Just add this to your scene. Now, what I suggest you do, once you add it in, under location, you can see here the values. You just want to reset this to 0. Boom. And that'll fix that for you in the world. And you may notice we're already in a night scene. If I hit play, you'll notice over time, the day cycle, day to night, it will go from night to day. This is so you can see there's a sun rising. It's a cool plugin. I don't know where the sun's coming from over there. I think it's coming from over there. Let's climb up and see. Yeah, there's a sun. And you can see there's a sun, and I think the moon's over there. Yeah. And you could tweak all of these settings, which is cool. But say if you wanted this to change over, like say, some games like what's the recent game I'm playing? Assassin's Creed, where the time changes 24 minutes during the day, and then 24 minutes for the night scenes. So, you can set that if you wanted something like that, or you could have it change over 5 minutes or 1 minute. You can speed it up or slow it down. But for this, we don't need to change it at all. So what we're going to do is we're just going to uncheck the run day cycle. So we don't really need this. Also, you can go here, override the initial time of day, and then you can drag it here as well. So as you can see, as I drag the slider, you can see the time of day preview here. You can control it from up here too. So I'm going to say it maybe something like slightly dark, but it's visible, so it's easy. It looks nice to work in, and it's going to hit. So I hit play. Now the sun's going to be just fixed to that. Yeah. So it's just something nice to visually look at. Anyway, let's now get into the character. So the character blueprint. What we want to do is add a first person camera rather than a third person. So we want to edit this existing blueprint. So we're going to go to our folder, third person, blueprint, and we're going to double click blueprint. All right. Now under the viewport, you'll see there's the camera boom and then the follow camera. Right. Well, we'll just drag the camera boom under the mesh and set this socket to the head. So now that's parented to the head. So you can see the movements of that as the head moves. You can see the camera's moving. However, the position of the boom, we do want to reset this, and we want to change that arm length to 0. Right. We also want to bring the camera forward. So what I've noticed, these values, if I drag these, it's kind of snapping. But you see the red, axis is red, but however this is the value here is on the Y for some reason. So X, Y, and Z, and this don't really, they're not the same. So just gotta be cautious of that. So I assume the X. So I want this slightly up. There we go, something like this. And what we want to do is we want this. The camera it's already set up, so this should already have the rotation. Yeah, the use pawn rotation because it's already on the camera boom. We want to set this up as well on the main blueprint at the top as well. So we're going to go to, you can just type in pawn, and then you should see use controller yaw. So then the player and the camera will move together. So if hit save, we go play. You can see our body now rotates with the camera, and we can, run around in first person. Boom. So that was pretty straightforward, right? So now we have a first person view, and we can see, our character, the shadows, and we can hit objects and collide with them in first person. So we have a physical thing rather than it just being a capsule with arms. Like some games, I mean, it's fine. It depends on what you want. if you say you wanted multiplayer or something and you wanted the other characters to see your character, then you have something there rather than it being just a capsule with two arms on the side. Like the actual first person view, I think it's just two arms and a gun on the blueprint template. Anyway, so we've got that working. So next what we want to do in our blueprint is add the spotlight, which will be the flashlight, right? So we want to add the spotlight to our scene, and we're comparing it to the camera. So we'll just follow this. So what we can do is just go add component. Actually, click on the camera and then add component. So it makes it easier. So it will just parent it automatically as you click it. It will just drop straight into position. Clear that search for the details here, and then you can change the spotlight settings. So bring that outer cone in and bring the inner cone. Maybe increase this, I don't know, to like 8,000. Hit compile, save, go play. Now you can see if we look up, look down, look all around, we have a light in front of us, which is brilliant, right? If you want to add some lag to this, so say maybe we could add an arm to this, a spring arm, so it kind of has some lag, so like some games. So if we go back into the control, we can also do that. So I'm going to do add spring arm, boom, and then put this underneath that. On the spring arm itself, I'm going to set that to 0. And then in the options, lag, enable rotation lag, compile, save. And we can change this lag speeds. You can increase it or decrease it. But you'll notice now the kind of camera lags behind. But however, then you got this issue with, the shadow. I don't know. Is that shadow? I don't know what that is. Is that the temporal? Is that TSR doing that effect? It might be the TSR. Yeah, I don't like that. And then also this. So maybe not. Yeah, see, that's causing an issue. So this, it's an option. You can play around with that. I'll leave the spring arm out of it for now and get rid of that spring arm. Compile and save. But you can do that too. Maybe we can do it on here anyway. We can add. Nah, do we want camera? Let's see. Let's see what this looks like. Might look alright. Might not. Let's see. Play. Nah, terrible. Don't do that. That's just worth a try. I'm sure you can do the spring arm on here. You just have to tweak it. You just have to do a lot of tweaking. Not a lot of tweaking, but you'll have to tweak it, okay? But I'll try to keep the video short. Anyway, so we have this light, which is fine. I think we need to change the temporal, what's it called? The TSR, the temporal super sampling or whatever it's called, settings. So let me just quickly go project settings, rendering. It's kind of bothering me. I don't know why. Rendering. I don't know if it is that. If I scroll down, this super sampling method, let's change it to fast, FXAA, or maybe TAA. I don't know. Let's do fast. Let's do the FF. Okay, let's hit play. See how that looks. I mean, I can still see that weird. I don't know if it's visible for you, but for me, I can see some kind of weird tearing there. If it's just the grid texture or I don't know, but it just looks really glitchy or tearing, a lot of tearing. But yeah, anyway, sorry about that. We want to control this light, right? So one way to do it will be in the blueprint. So we need to click on the spotlight, go to our event graph. So here's where this event graph is, what's controlling your character. So all the inputs for walking, moving the camera, jumping. If you want the character to fly, you can add it all in here. But we want to create an event that allows us to control the spotlight, right? The visibility of our spotlight. So visibility, set visibility, we want it to say if it's true or false, right? And then turn it on or off the visibility. Now to do this, we need to go to edit and we need to go project settings and we need to add an input. So we're going to scroll down in the engine and then you go input and we want to add an action mapping. So under the action mapping, when you click the plus, you'll see a little arrow pop up on the left. It's really tiny. And you want to give this a name. So for the action, which is the flashlight, so flashlight. And you're going to click that and then you can assign it a key. So if you want, you can go through the whole list, pick a key. Or you can just click this little keyboard, hit F on your keyboard, boom, and it will assign the letter for you. If you want to assign it to a number, say 1, 2, 3, whatever you want, you can do that too. Okay. So next, once you're happy with that, you hit close. Now we can call that event up in our blueprint. So if we go back to our blueprint, what we're going to do is right click and we want to say, we're going to tap in flashlight and you'll see you get the action event. So it will be on pressed and then, you could trigger an event. So we want a true or false, right? So we need a branch. So we want to check, is it visible? Is it on or is it off? True or false? So we need a condition, right? So so we need to say get visible from the spotlight. So we're going to say is it visible? So we're checking basically if it's visible, and that's going to go into this condition, right? And then it will say true or false. That's it. That's all it is. So you got two. We need two visibilities. One with it off and one with it on. So I'll just Control C and Control V. So copy and paste this, and the target again will be linked to the spotlight. And you can check one of these. So this one will be turned on and this one's turned off. True, and this one is false. Let me try to make this a little bit tidier so you can see. But hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, I'm thinking this is the simplest way I can kind of show you it, and hopefully it makes sense. So when you press the key, it will check. So if I hit compile, save, hit play, and let's go over here, this dark area. If I hit F on my keyboard, and I can toggle this on and off. Cool. Which is what you want. However, when you play the scene, you notice the spotlight is already automatically on. If you don't want it to be automatically on at the start, don't forget in your blueprint on the spotlight, go here to visible and just uncheck this, right? And then say compile, save. So it's unchecked. So when I hit play, if I walk, you see it's already turned off, and then I can turn it on and off. There we go. Cool. So that's pretty much sorted out. So we've got a first person view. We've got a nice sky. We have a flashlight you can turn on and off. Now let's add a little intro animation. So let's say we want to animate a camera to fly in, or two cameras. We'll do some animation cuts, and we'll animate some objects so you can see how you can use the animation sequencer. So we'll add a little intro. Rather than when you hit play, it just cuts straight to the player. The player can interact straight away. Maybe you want like an intro animation, so it's just a bit more nicer to start with. Or what's a good example? GoldenEye. Everyone knows GoldenEye, right? Where the camera used to fly through the environment, and they had this nice music playing, and then they would kind of transition to the first person mode, of Bond. So you'll see the character standing, then you'll just kind of fly to the character. So we'll do something similar, but more basic, basically. It's very basic. Anyway, How we're going to do this, we're going to go to our content window, our content folder. We're going to create a new folder. And here I'm going to call this intro animation. Right. I'm going to right click and we're going to call this cinematics. And we're going to go level sequence. Right. And we're going to call this intro animation. Okay. Double click this. Now this sequence curves, you can just close this window. Underneath your content window will be a sequencer. Now, you don't have any cameras in your scene. We haven't added anything. Now you can choose to add them here, like you can add them in manually, going into, go here, cinematics and add a camera into the scene. But you can just click on the camera itself, here, create a new camera, and it'll add it in. And you'll notice the focal length may be looking different from the first person, which is fine. Actually, I don't mind that. So maybe we'll use, say, this first camera will give us an overall, shot of the environment. And then we'll add another camera. So let's say this is camera 1. And then we want to say camera 2. And then this one will be the one that will fly in. So to cut between two cameras, you can see you have this camera cuts. But right now we only have camera 1 actor. So we want to add camera 2 to this. So to add the other camera, you just click on the little plus. And then you can add camera 2 to this. So now we've got these two cameras. You can see it's switching, but because of the extra position, if I change this to, say, down here, for example, now you can see if I click back here, now you can see it's cutting between the two cameras, which you can then, as part of your animation. Now, if you want to change the time and duration of your timeline, you go up here. I like to work in seconds. So I know what I'm working with. So if I set this to, say, 10 seconds, I want a 10-second intro, and then I'll just move this red marker, which is basically where it crops the end of the animation. So I want this to be 10 seconds. I'm going to move this camera across, like so, like that. Great. So let's animate camera 1, and then we can animate camera 2 after. Right. So camera 1, if you want to animate that position, or the camera itself, slowly drift in, what we're going to do is go here, click on the little drop down arrow, and what we want to do is animate the transformation. Now you can animate individual, like just the X, Y, Z. If you want to animate the individual axes and the rotations, you can do that as well. Or you can just hit the keyframe or the transformation. And then if I move this camera, make sure I have the right camera selected. Why is it not moving? Am I looking at the right camera? Yeah, there we go. Oh, sorry, make sure that camera's selected. I was in the cuts. I was a bit confused there. But say, okay, so we started here, and we want to maybe just spin out and look at it over here. There's something like that. It can be whatever you want. If I go back to the animation, did it do it? It didn't key it. Oh, let me go back to here. Let's move this in. Might have to hit it again, the keyframe, but let me just position this. Sorry. Let's pull this out. There we go. So everything I do is just kind of just doing it off the top of my head as I go along, just kind of making it up. It's not exactly what I plan, but there we go. Nothing goes to plan, right? We all know that. And let's maybe start down here. Just focus on these 3 little cubes. Why not? Okay, there we go. Oh, Because I'm expecting it to auto update. So if you want the keyframes to auto update as you move around, you can check that. That's why I keep on forgetting. But you can also hit this and then update the keyframe. There we go. So now we'll go back to camera cut. There we go. So we focus on the three cubes and kind of pull out. And maybe here midway, we don't want to see this empty space, right? So we're just gonna click on this. Just pull out over more further out here and update that. There we go. So we just got a little animation. It's nothing fancy, right? And then we cut to our second camera. So if we go here, now we cut to our second camera. Oops. There we go. So second camera. Boom. Boom. Okay. So second camera, let's say, go to second camera view. Let's minimize that again. Let's change the focal length something like 20. So it looks close. It's closer to our first-person camera view on the focal length. I think you can check. You can go check what the camera is, but I'll just do about 20. It looks kind of alright. On the transformation here, we're going to choose our start position. So maybe we'll start from, I don't know, down here. Let's do something different. Doesn't have to be exact as what we did last time. Well, I showed you at the start of the, what we're creating. And yours can be completely different. Like I said, it doesn't have to be exactly the same. And then we're gonna go over here, and we know our player start is over here, so we're gonna kind of move over. I'm gonna shift this, change the values here. I was using the WASD keys, but something like this is fine. And hit the transformation button. So now we have an animation. We're moving from here to here, and maybe as we get to this point here, I just want to kind of pull out a little and up somewhere like this, and add the key again. There we go. So kind of, there we go. Now if we go to camera cuts, you can see, so we can have camera 1, camera 2, and you get the idea. Alright. But it's not only cameras that you can animate for your intro, for example. It could be the objects in the scene. So, what can we animate? Let's animate, I mean, we can move some of these blocks, right? Or we can move these pieces. Let's move these, let's move this ramp, for example, right? If you want that ramp to move, you can select it from your outliner, drop it into your sequencer, and you can see here you got the transformation that you can animate. You can also do like trigger events, you can change material, trigger animations on the materials, all sorts of crazy stuff you can add to it. But let's just show, I'll just show you, like maybe this will just slide into place, right? So where's a good part so we can see it moving? So let's say here, this is the end point, so I'm going to set a key on the transformation. I'm going to scroll back, so at that point we can see it's there, so we can just kind of move it out of shot there, hit transformation. So now as we play, we can see it moving into place, and you can have all these kind of different objects moving in the animation, if you wanted. Maybe you want all these blocks to kind of form and build the environment. I don't know. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward, right? It's not bad. Now, what we do want is this second camera to blend with our first person view. So what we need to do is right click and do can blend. Make sure this is checked, can blend, right? And if you look on the corner, we might have to bring this in. Let's just extend this time so we can see the end of that timeline there. Where is it? There it is. You can see here it's doing blending between these two cameras, but we don't want to blend the two cameras, so we don't want this to overlap. So I'm just gonna drag this back, because we just want it to cut. But what we do want is this. You see that little yellow marker? It's really hard to select, but it's there. And what I want to do is just move this to 10 seconds. I want to drag that yellow marker so it will go blue. You'll see it highlights blue, and just drag this to about, I don't know, 9 seconds. So once over 1 second, I want this to blend. Now this right now it looks wrong, but when you hit play in the game mode, it will blend between this camera and our first person camera on the character. All right, and I can move this crop over here like so. Okay, so I think we're pretty much done here. Like I said, you can animate all different kind of elements. You can see here the ramp is animated. What else? Let's animate another block, just so you can see. There you go. We're going to say, okay, the block starts here, and again, this animates. Well, wrong one. Oops. I selected the wrong. It's this one, this cube. Sorry. So this starts here, and at this point, I want it kind of, maybe it just starts off over here, right? And we're going to set transform, boom. So now we've got these objects all kind of forming into place, and then, we transition into the character. Boom. Camera cut, then it'll be transition. All right. So that's pretty much done. So yeah, hopefully you understand the principles of this, and you can create your own intro, um, and you can spend more time making the animations a lot nicer. I've kept it very simple. Hit save. Important to hit save. Also, there's a save button here for your sequencer. When your animations hit save here. But right now, just hit save all. Save. So we'll save this for us. Yeah, you can change this to 60 FPS if you wanted as well. But yeah, I think that is looking. I'm good and happy with that. Kind of covers what we need. Now we need to be able to control this in a way to trigger it, right? Because if I hit save and close this, and if I hit play, we don't see the animation, right? People are like, hey, how do you trigger the animation? Well, we need to do this in our blueprint. So we need to do open level blueprint, and then we want to say we need to add it into our scene as well. It's important. So we have our level sequence. We want to drop it into our scene. I'm just going to hit reset back to 0. It's in the scene, just setting it to 0, right? And if we go back to our open level blueprint, and let's just make this small. You can drag this in here, intro animation, and we want to say play. Okay. All right. So that's going to play. So on event begin, so if I go event begin play, this will trigger the animation. However, you'll see the character, I'll be able to still interact during the cutscene. So if I press WASD, you can see, I can interact and turn the spotlight on and off during the cutscene, and it transitions. Maybe that's the thing you want, and that's fine. However, if you don't want the player to start or move during the cutscene, we're going to have to disable the inputs and then enable it after the animation finishes. So it's pretty straightforward. So here we're going to disconnect this, right? So I thought it was best to show you what it does, So here we want to say disable input, right? And this will go after it disables the input, then it plays. So it begins, disables our input, plays the animation, then we have a delay, which will be the length of the animation, right? Where's delay? Delay. Oh, delay. There we go. Which will be the duration of animation, which this is set to 10 seconds. If yours is 10 seconds, feel free to put 10. If it's 5 seconds, then change the duration to 5. Okay, so once that's disabled, it'll play the animation, which is going to last for 10 seconds. Once that's completed, we're going to say enable the input. So enable input. Okay, so we need to say what are we disabling and enabling, which will be our player character. So here in the player controller, let me just try player character. Character, is it? Am I spelling it right? Oh, sorry, target. Sorry, not player controller. Sorry, it's player target. Player character. That's why it wasn't coming up. Character. Yeah, we get player character, which is our target, right? And you can also do that again for here, or you can just link this target to the same player character, which is probably easier rather than having more nodes. And that's it. So now the user, I won't be able to press WASD or move the controls or toggle or anything until the animation is finished now. So if I hit compile, save, hit play, you can see I'm pressing WASD, nothing's happening. I can't do nothing. Wait for the animation to complete. So this is the intro. We transitioned. Now we can run around, you know, interact with our scene, turn the light on and off. There we go. So hopefully this was, you know, wasn't too much waffling. I wasn't waffling too much. I know it was a bit longer than I expected. But I think we did cover a few things, you know, to help you get started in the scene building. Remember, you can change this time of day to maybe night. Hit play. Boom. I don't like that little glowing thing on the chest. That's just part of the materials. But we will replace this character with our own mesh later as well. Later on in the series, we'll put our own mesh and add some additional custom animations to the character. So it's, you know, you can have a crouch, different crawls, jumps, or different reactions. Yeah, but I'm happy with this. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to hit a like, subscribe, and share. It helps me. Leave a comment if you recommend anything. Um, you know, anything I should be doing or adding. Also, I'm also learning as well, so we're learning together. But I'm kind of like, kind of, yeah. It helps me learn, and you know, hopefully, I'm helping someone else to, yeah. Anyway, enjoy your day, evening, morning, or night. Bye bye.